Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Eric Mona from Paizo Publishing, looking at Pathfinder adventure card game, Rise of the Runelords base set, which is a pretty big box here. You can look at the overhead of the box. You can see everything. This is a huge game. You guys had a lot of copies here, it seems like, sold out in 4 hours.
Yep.
This is the last copy, I think, at Gen Con, you said?
Absolutely.
Okay. So looking at the game here, we've got tons of cards. I know you have adventure decks that come out in the future with space inside the box to hold everything.
That's right.
It's well designed. Everything's good here.
Thank you.
What's the actual game? Maybe you can tell us a bit
more
about what's
actual
going
game,
on.
the Pathfinder adventure card game, kind of distills a lot of the elements of the Pathfinder role-playing game into a fast-paced cooperative card game. Where you take on the role of adventuring characters and you explore locations and you fight monsters and you win treasure and you have a deck of cards that represents your character and each adventure in the campaign, the Rise of the Runelords campaign, which was the very first Pathfinder role-playing game campaign that we ever published, every adventure has several scenarios. And each scenario has several locations. Okay. And you kind of finish scenarios by going through the various locations, trying to find the main villain of those locations. Okay. And in the process of that, you explore the Pathfinder worlds, and your character becomes more powerful. And you supplement the deck of cards that represents your character with new treasures that you found. And as you go through all of the adventures, your character becomes more powerful.
So within the base game itself, you have several scenarios.
That's exactly right. And each scenario probably takes about an hour to play.
Okay. And are they repeats? Are they one-time?
They're based on each location has like a random deck associated with it that's like made out of a certain recipe. Okay. So it might have a certain number of monsters, a certain number of treasures, but it's more or less random each time. Okay. And so there's a lot of replay value as well. Okay. It is a cooperative card game. There's not a game master. There's a lot of ways in which it's different than the Pathfinder role-playing game. Right. I like to think the most important one is you don't have to read a 576-page rulebook in order to understand it. But there's no game.
That's because it's divided up among all the cards.
That's right. The 500 cards. Yeah. There's definitely another difference in that. Yeah, it's cooperative. There's no game master. You're kind of playing against the card game itself. Okay.
So what do we have set up here?
What I've got set up here is this is my character. This is the character card for Valeros, the fighter.
We'll move that
and what that tells us is, starting on this side, it kind of tells us, okay, so at first level, Valeros gets 5 weapon cards, 3 armor cards, 2 item cards, 2 ally cards, and 3 blessings.
For the composition of his deck.
Exactly. Okay. And as you'll see, as he goes up in level, by playing through the different adventures, his character deck size grows, and his hand will also grow and give him more versatility. Okay. And each time he's finding a new treasure, at the end of the scenario, you got to kind of right-size your deck to the right number as according to this card. Okay. And you might have at the beginning a Masterwork sword that gives you a +1 to hit or something like that. But in the course of your adventuring, you might have found a +2 sword. So that's how your character gets more and more versatile and more powerful as the game goes on, from scenario to scenario and adventure to adventure. Okay.
Although, of course, I mentioned in the further adventures, you have monthly adventure packs. Correct?
Yeah, exactly. So the first Rise of the Runelords base set comes with the very first adventure, which is called Burnt Offerings. It's 110 cards, and it gives you a bunch of locations tied into. It's an adaptation, essentially, of the very first Pathfinder product we ever released. Right. So it's got the goblins that have made Pathfinder famous. We also have released, and that's this format here. We also have released this week a 5 and 6 player expansion deck, because the game is designed for 4 players. Right. So it also gives 4 more character classes, bringing the total to 11. So you have 11 different characters you can choose. I've chosen Valeros, our fighter. Every other month, starting in October, we're going to be releasing additional adventure decks all the way through next year. Okay. So Valeros, he's got familiar skills like strength, dexterity, constitution, things like that. And a lot of the roles that you do during the game are based on those abilities. Right. So as you might expect, a fighter's going to be better at fighting, he's going to be stronger, things like that. So I've kind of mocked up a little character deck here. So this would represent my character, and I have a hand size of, say, 5, and I'm looking at that, and okay, so if I get into a battle, which I'll show you in a little bit, I have options here that I can play to do battle. Now, if I'm wounded and if I'm injured, the cards also represent my health. So I'm going to be discarding cards out of play, and so I become a little bit less versatile as the play goes on.
Right.
So I want to keep these cards as much as I can in my deck. So, for instance, let's say Valeros is going to go explore the Sandpoint Cathedral. And here you see the deck list that tells you how to build what's in here, and I've done that. So let's say I'm going to explore. So you turn over the card. Oh, hey, Valeros just found Boots of Elvenkind. So I put that into my cards here, and
I think those are in aisle 800.
Yeah, you can go get them here. You can do some
here
Pathfinder adventure card game cosplay if you want.
Definitely.
So okay, then then the other players go, and now it's my turn again. Oh, let's see what else is in the Sandpoint Cathedral. Oh no, it's an ancient skeleton. And now I've got to do. I basically have to fight him, and I have a couple of options. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play on that turn. I'm going to play my Bastard Sword, and I make a combat check, and that's going to be a strength roll essentially. So Valeros has got a D10, like a wizard or somebody might have a smaller die.
Right.
And so then I'm going to roll my melee die plus a D10. So I get a 5. I get an 11, and then I check to defeat this guy, and I'm not using mental attacks or poison on him.
Right.
I'm just using a sword. So I'm gonna, I beat him there. Unfortunately, my sword has the slashing quality, so the difficulty to defeat him is up to 11, which is what I roll. So boom, I've defeated the ancient skeleton. So he goes bye-bye.
Good thing you plan those die rolls in advance.
Yeah, how about that? That worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
And it just kind of goes on, and you keep exploring.
Well, also you mentioned here, if you defeat him, you may immediately attempt to close this location.
Right. So there's going to be like 5 or 6 locations in each scenario, and I'm trying to find kind of the main enemy. Like I can fight all the there's a bunch of goblin warriors all around,
right.
But maybe I'm going to find the war chief Rip Nugget, the leader of the goblin invasion, okay? If I've got 5 locations that are still open, war chief Rip Nugget can flee to one of the other locations.
Right.
So what I'm trying to do is shut down, close these locations, and then I'm going to try and corner the war chief so that we can do battle together and defeat him. Okay. And when we defeat the big bad guy from that scenario, then we move on to the next scenario and so on and so forth.
So everyone can hop around to different locations
exactly.
or team up one by one.
In fact, this card here is to show that Valeros is at the Sandpoint Cathedral.
Right. Okay.
So, and that's pretty much how it goes. And it goes through, numerous scenarios, and then we build adventures, and you can play through the adventures, and at the end you're like, okay, well, my Boots of Elvenkind are better than my Boots of non-Elvenkind or something, so I'll discard that one and keep this one, and then I go on and save the world and hopefully kill a bunch of goblins in the process.
I didn't mention the designer name before, Mike Salinker.
Yeah, Mike Salinker, yeah.
How did this come about in the first place? So what were you trying to do?
Mike and his team at Lone Shark Games have been working on a game that you have characters and you're exploring and had some RPG elements to it. And we've worked with Mike on a lot of stuff over the years at Paizo, and he approached us and said, guys, I got this game that I think would be really good for you. And little did he know, or maybe he's so smart he knew, that we were already in the mindset of saying, Pathfinder is really great. It's the industry-leading role-playing game right now, and has been for a few years. It keeps growing and growing. But a big, thick rule book and kind of almost a lifestyle of RPGs is not necessarily going to appeal to everybody who also might be interested in fighting dragons or goblins or fantasy and things.
Right.
And so we really wanted to kind of have a simple, fun, fast-paced, cooperative game that would express some of the cool elements of Pathfinder for maybe people who weren't fully interested in the RPG.
Right.
Or maybe people who love the RPG but maybe just wanted a different change of pace. Or maybe they're waiting for that RPG player who's always 25 minutes late and they say, hey, let's play a quick scenario of the Pathfinder adventure card game.
Leave that chump
out
of
and
here.
And the way that the box is designed, you can, I got a little bit better this time with my deck. You can just slide your deck right back in there, and then next time you're all together, just pull it right back out. Your character's ready to go.
Okay.
So Mike showed us a game. It was not themed toward Pathfinder. It was kind of a zombie game that he was using as an example. But as he was showing us and playing it through with us,
You
we're
were
like,
translating
oh my
mentally,
God,
like,
that
for everything.
Uzi could be a +2 sword and all that. And it was, he really gets it. Mike's
Right.
background isn't just in card games and all kinds of games, actually.
Yeah.
He's
And the
played
puzzles,
RPGs,
too.
absolutely.
Everything, yeah.
And so it's like the perfect mix of somebody, and he's got a great team as well, but somebody who really understands what fantasy role-playing is all about, but has kind of the puzzle knowledge and the gaming, game design chops to really create an exciting card game that delivers a new experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on the sellout.
Thank you.
Too bad you didn't have like 4 times as many.
I think that's a phrase I've heard a few times this weekend, for
That's
sure.
right. But
We'll
this
do
is
better
mentioned-
next year.
This is hitting. Okay, I'll just mention as well. This is hitting stores by the end of August.
It's hitting stores pretty much next week. The distributors already have it, so it's coming out very shortly.
That's right. So if you can't get it here, get it soon. Do you have a question? UK and Germany release.
The UK should be shortly, and Germany, I'm not 100%.
Shortly, like a month, or shortly, like
Well,
3
they're
months?
getting the same versions that we printed for the US, so I'm sure it's in
Whenever the
a
boat
month
gets
or
there.
so when the boat gets there. Yeah.
In Germany.
In Germany, I'm not 100% sure actually. I'm soon, hopefully soon.
Will there be downloadable versions of the things that people write on?
Yeah, there absolutely. There's like, for example, a
So the question is, are there
Sorry.
downloadable versions of these cards? You're going to do this.
What there is there's downloadable sheets to help keep track of like your character deck. So for example, if you want to play the Pathfinder adventure card game with a number of different groups of friends, instead of saving your deck just as is, you can kind of make a checklist of what your deck is, where your character has advanced in level. There are a few cards where, if you want, you can actually make check marks physically on the card.
Right.
We'd recommend putting sleeves on those cards.
And with a erasable
and
marker.
yeah, with a erasable marker. That's probably the best way to get the most value out of the cards.
Okay. Any other questions?
Will they be able to purchase the promos at a later date?
Yeah,
Can you purchase the promos at a later date?
we're gonna we have a subscription service on Paizo.com if you want to just make sure that you get all of our expansion decks and things like that. All the subscribers will get a guarantee to get all the promo cards for the game. We're also releasing them through distributors and retailers. If at the end of that we still have some left, which I suspect we will, we'll try to make sure that there's an easy way for people to get a hold of those.
I know of a store
Yeah,
where people get promo cards.
yeah.
Do you know where that is? It's on Board Game Geek.
Board
I just
Game
mentioned it.
Geek.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to
I
look
just thought I'd
into
throw that
that. Oh, that's
suggestion out
really
there
good
in
thought.
case, in
Yeah,
case
yeah,
there was
yeah.
out there. So, any other questions?
Will Paizo be at Essen?
We may have some folks there. We are not we're not currently planning to exhibit there.
Okay.
Although a 4-hour sellout of our card game is a good influence.
It's a kick in the boot.
Yeah, to get over across
about
the
to get
ocean.
there.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks very much for your
Hey,
time, Eric.
great talking to you.
Glad to see more Erics.
Thank you.